Up again, but he fell on that very well indeed. Read the game well there, did Mick Scott. And it comes out to Ford. Ford on to Kenny. Kenny holding it. Out to Gill. There's bags of white jerseys there. Gill knocks them off, knocks another off. And he's still struggling. They have an awful job putting him down. Mayo on to Ford. Ford on to Courtney. Courtney running at them, charging in. Dragging his way up to the 25 line. Looked like a high swing as Mayo gets it out to Ford. On to Potter. Potter moves it across onto Dunn. Dunn trying to go through. Can't get rid of the ball. His arms are locked and he has to die with it on the 25 line. Ford out to Stevenson. Stevenson trying to beat his man. Nearly through. Slips and has to die in the fifth tattle. Comes out to Ford. Ford moves it on to Scott. Scott turning it back inside. Ball goes out to Kenny. There's an overlap as Kenny goes for the line. Long one to Gill. Gill going. Can he reach over and he's in? Great pass by Kenny. Fine finishing by Gill. Bash his way through, but the defence is up to it. And it comes out to Ford. Ford on to Mick Scott. Scott straightens up, turns back. Strong, powerful run that by Scott. Gained a lot of ground. And the ball knocked out of his hands. Surely it's a knock on. The referee says play on. The ball has gone forward. The referee lets it go as Grimes comes charging in. Trying to slip the ball. It comes on to Kenny. Well up there on to Donlan. Donlan going back inside. Good run by Donlan. He has his legs taken from under him. It comes out to Ford. Ford on to Dunn. Dunn holding it. On to Kenny. Beautiful break by Kenny. Has Gill with him. Beats the defence. Fantastic run by Kenny. Looked like the invisible man as he went through there. They didn't know where he was. They couldn't see him. They couldn't touch him. And he went through for a fine captain's try. Workington in their own 25. Kicking behind the defence. Whitfield going back for it. Traps it. Has Donlan on his inside. Running crossfield. Straightens up. And a good run by Whitfield. Tremendous run up to the 25 line. Showing a lot of speed as he moved inside to Ford. Ford to Scott. Scott to Kenny. Kenny holding it. On to Donlan. Donlan well taken by Stevenson. Juliff going for the line. And he's held just inches short of the line. Wigan moved it well across the three-quarter line there. Once again, knocked on by Ford. Couldn't take it cleanly from that pass. Bit low around his ankles. And that's probably relief for Workington as they'll have the loose head and the put in. And Wigan playing without a recognised hooker. Ball goes into the pack and penalty to Wigan for feet up. Amazing how teams can give this sort of penalty away when they've got every advantage in the favour, and then they have to infringe the rules. Courtney going for the line, going in hard. Turns it back inside to Mayo, to Ford. Ford on to Kenny. Kenny holding it. Stevenson. Whitfield. Whitfield's pass has gone astray. Pass that wasn't on and got knocked on, and Stevenson is hurt. Atry got rid of the ball. Played back to Banks. Banks moves it across onto the scrum half. Left-footed, well covered by Juliff in exactly the right place. Running it out, coming strongly. Covers across there, hanging on to him, and they force him down to the ground. And a Workington player looking badly hurt in that tackle as Potter tries to bring the ball away from acting half-back. Comes to Ford. Ford taking the ball, gets it on to Campbell. Campbell to Scott. Scott on to Dunn. Dunn coming through strongly. Gets it back on to Scott. Good backing up. Inside onto Ford. Ford dancing and jinking. Holding it out to Donlan. Donlan has support on to Gale, and that's a great try. Lovely handling try by Wigan. Set off initially by good run by Brian Dunn. And Gill goes in for another try. To Campbell driving in hard, trying to take them with him. Defence is up to that sort of running. To Ford. Ford to Scott. Scott holding it. Short one. Ball's gone astray. Scott regains possession. Managed to hand it on. A long pass out to Detroit. Detroit running hard and powerfully. Big strong run. Great run by Detroit. And he's over with a most spectacular dive. Well, that was a powerful, determined run by Detroit to bring him a try on the first team. He went very well. He was holding that ball in his hand. To Ford on to Courtney going straight, turning short one on to Scott having to turn back inside, on to Ford. There's a gap there, can he beat the fullback? He's being chased, comes inside, cover is there, he's put down 12 yards out, played back to Scott turning and twisting onto Mayo going back inside, gets it onto Ford going for on to Scott to Potter, Dunn can't take it cleanly, ball's been played on, the referee says it's knocked on. Potter behind to play the ball, a long one onto Mayo onto Ford dancing, a long one onto Detroit dumbing, going back inside, trying to drag them with him, still powering his way to the line, he's forced down a few yards out. Mayo waiting for the play of the ball, Mayo to Ford onto Kenny switching direction, onto Courtney back to Ford going back again to Kenny, there's a gap as it goes on to Scott a long one to Donlan bring it, dummying, a lovely dummy, and he's in. A nice dummy by Donlan to bring Gill inside. Gill came inside and they followed him, and Donlan didn't give him the ball but forced his way over in the corner. To make it now Wigan 28. Taking Wigan about 12 or 13 minutes to get those 4 points on them, but not getting much ball from the scrums. Holding puts it in, and he's got it out onto Kenny. Kenny doing a dummy run, onto Juliff, who's coming beautifully. Juliff back onto Kenny. Kenny throws a pass out. Detroit can't take it, knocked on. Juliff showing surprising. Penalty's been given. Campbell driving for the line, going in hard, held a couple of yards short. Mayo to Holding to Courtney dumbing with it, onto Potter trying to bustle his way through, being held 5 yards out. Mayo doing a switch of direction, out onto Kenny out onto Whitfield, beautifully timed pass and well licked up by Whitfield. I say, tremendous all-round vision, this Kenny. Field behind to play the ball. Moves it to Holding on to Scott running at them. Coming in strong and hard, running a bit wide but running powerfully. Brings Gill inside. Gill proving difficult to hold, still on his feet. Gets it on to Holding running it out. Long pass to Kenny. Kenny beats one beautifully, just slid by him. Dummy cut through beautifully, what a tremendous run. Great run by Kenny, inside onto Juliff, he knocks one off, and that was a lovely run, but the referee says the final pass inside was forward. But that was a great run down the field by Kenny.
The Wigan player of the match today, chosen by our sponsors, Roller Coaster Fast Food Limited, Wigan number 5, Henderson Gill.
And break here by Workington, they could well break the Wigan defence. And then Gill's coming across, can he reach the fullback? Powering up on him, but Ray's going to score. Well, that's one out of the blue. Points that Wigan should never have given away. Workington have scored right from their own try line. Wigan 34, Workington 4 as Ray scorched down the field. And at that end, all screamed forward. Workington struggling the way out of their own 25, dragging the way forward. Comes on to Burns. Burns let it go, but intercepted by Kenny. Look at that lovely jink. And he's over underneath the post. That could well have applied to Workington today. How they've got 6 is quite incomprehensible. And if the view of your film has changed over the last few minutes, because Brian Case has gone to cameraman, he's following Mick Scott and it goes to Holding. Has Holding got the legs? He's accelerated. The chase is on and he's over. Just made it. Well, I don't know. We had a new camera. Mick Scott inside to Mayo. Mayo on to Potter. Potter running at them. Long pass, well taken by Dunn. Onto the toy, gets it out. Onto Dolan. Dolan's flung it inside to Gill. Gill's going to finish up underneath the post. And that's the 50, tempting them. And the 50 goes up. Good play by Wigan. Kept the ball moving well. And that's 52. Wigan 52. And we're well into injury time, as Wigan seem to be able to score at will. And there goes the hooter for full time. Not the greatest game we've seen at Central Park, but Wigan certainly pile the points on. And so the final score as the players go off is Wigan 52, Workington 6. This is your commentator John McDermott, hoping you've enjoyed